everyone. Listen, I hope you're well. But before this video starts, I would just like to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, you. You are the sponsor. You are meant to watch this. So continue to do so! I'm not redoing that intro. Meet the Robinsons! Oh my gosh! Meet the Robin. Okay, look here. Just forget about that intro, okay? Just look into my eyes and think of this. Meet the Robinsons. Why is this movie so underrated? And it's BS that no one talks about it. Like this movie, this is the kind that Disney should be producing nowadays with its quality. But now we're getting... Why? So yeah, as you've noticed on my channel, I've been going down a whole rabbit hole on just watching old classics. But really, this is just me reminiscing on my old childhood movies that I've used to watch as a kid. But when it came to a video about making about Meet the Robinsons, honestly, there's not a single thought in my mind about the movie. But you know what really did? The freaking video game. Because you see, I also don't have much memories about the game either. Because you know why? Because stupid kid me was stuck in the Robinsons' house and I had no clue as to how to finish or continue with the game. This nightmare sucked! Unlike this movie. That was a bad transition, but we're going to talk about Meet the Robinsons. This is a lovely movie. Let's not waste any time and let's just dive right into it. What am I doing with my hands? Why do I keep doing this a lot? The film starts out as we see a woman dropping off a baby at an orphanage. But as she does so, we hear this noise. That will be important for later. That baby then grows up to be a boy named Louis, who's a kid that has the pure joy and investment for inventing. He's trying to create an invention that could help impress his new parents, that are willing to figure out if they'd like to take him. And while he's trying to invent something, his roommate Michael is trying to speak about his day, even talking about these dreams to do baseball, and Louis just keeps ignoring the living hell out of him.
Oh, I hope this is it. I hope he gets adopted.
You and me both, Chief.
So Louis expresses his aspirations to become an inventor by actually almost killing a man who has a nut allergy.
What's your favorite sport?
Well, does inventing count as a sport?
Actually,
Because I hit a home run with this one.
what is that?
A question. What's the #1 problem that you face when you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Louis, I don't think...
For this demonstration, I'll use regular bread. No, it's okay. We don't usually eat peanut butter. What's happening? Stand back!
Off to a good start. The orphanage lady sees Louis and tries to comfort him over his recent loss of not being able to be accepted by another family, feeling nobody, not even his real mom, wants him. But when the orphanage lady tries to comfort him, in Louis's mind, he feels that he can try to remember and find who his real mom is. They even do this montage of Louis going through his day-to-day life while trying to make an invention to help look for his mom. You could also see a scene where he's outsmarting most of his classmates, even the guy who almost adopted him, which I found funny, but looking back, I can see that it was just the film reusing character models, but I don't care. This is my video, and in my headcanon, that was his potential dad, being outsmarted by a little child. Louis gets an invitation to the science fair, and this is where we really get to see how much of a douche he is to his own roommate, who's probably got eye bags hanging under eye bags, because Louis is just constantly keeping him out of sleep to help him with his invention. Like, dude, read the room! He's tired! The orphanage lady gets a call to get Louis another interview with a family member, but Louis, finishing his invention, rejects the offer of seeing them as he only wants to meet his real mom. Louis then enters the science fair, but as he does so, he gets confronted by a kid named Wilbur, aka the best character in this whole freaking film. Wilbur, who then asks Louis if he's been approached by a man in a bowler hat, who Wilbur has been looking for, as this apparent guy has stolen a time machine and warns that he's after Louis.
Why me?
The boys back at HQ haven't figured out a motive yet. And by HQ, I mean headquarters. Just worry about your little science gizmo and leave the perp to me. And by perp, I mean
I
perp.
know what it means.
Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants.
We then get introduced to Bowler Hat Guy, who's eyeing Lewis from afar and gets his little robot hat to get inside Lewis's machine to help sabotage it, which really ascends well into chaos.
Real glass!
Crushing the
Go
abdomen.
cry me a river.
Lewis then runs off being upset about the whole thing while the Bowler Hat Guy takes possession of his machine. Wilbur then catches up to Lewis. Admitting that Lewis needs to fix that machine as he's actually from the future. And Lewis is all like, prove to me that you're from the future. And Wilbur's like, I bet.
What are you doing? Let go of me!
Okay.
Damn. We're like 20 minutes into this film and our main character has already passed on. Well, on that though, here are all my socials, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Okay, he didn't actually die. He just fell into Wilbur's jet and thus Wilbur just takes Lewis to the future. Which is kind of funny because imagine if he just missed. Lewis takes a good look of how the future looks, completely forgetting that he's technically being kidnapped. That is so many levels of being unsafe. Who approved of this? Literally one poke and it's over, people. So with Wilbur proving his point, he now wants Lewis back to fix his machine. Lewis then backtracks his statement in wanting to fix it because his only intention right now is to help stop his mom from leaving him at the orphanage. But when Lewis doesn't get that, he's just like, screw it, I'll just do it myself. And thus which leads to both boys tussling over the machine, leading it to crash. Wilbur then freaks out over the time machine being broken as they only have 2 time machines left. One that's already broken and the other that Bowler Hat Guy has already stolen. And I find this so funny because Lewis just does not care whatsoever what he just done. He's now trapped in this timeline and he's just now crashed a kid's time machine and his whole mindset is just like, yeah, that's cool, man, but like, can I meet my real mom now? They then create a deal where if Lewis fixes the time machine, Wilbur will send Lewis to the night where his mom abandoned him. We then see Bowler Hat Guy taking Lewis's machine to help pitch it to an invention company because lol, in his list, he literally wants to pass it off as his own invention. And then when it comes to the interview, the boss asks what's his accomplishment or aspiration or what he wants to do with this invention, and the hat guy is just like,
Oh, nothing of consequence. I simply wish to crush the dreams of a poor little orphan boy.
as you do, I suppose. But all else fails as Bowler Hat Guy has no actual clue as to how the machine works, getting kicked out by the corporation.
Watch out.
And it's within his plan to find Lewis there so they could help make this machine work. Back to the boys, we then see them push the time machine back to the garage, hoping that Lewis can fix the machine in secret without Wilbur's family knowing, and thus we meet a robot named Carl, who helps work with the family.
Hi, I'm Lewis.
Wilbur then advises Lewis to stay in the garage as his family can find out that he brought something from the past, covering Lewis's head with a fruit hat as to not be a dead giveaway as to who he is.
Why would my hair be a dead giveaway?
That is an excellent question.
Wait, where are you going?
Another excellent question.
But I don't just want to sit here.
Stay.
But
And just 2 seconds later, even while being told to stay in the garage, a tube quickly sucks up Lewis out of the garage. Wilbur then catches Carl up to about the situation, and Carl lets Wilbur understand that if Lewis doesn't get back to fixing his machine, Wilbur will no longer exist. You'll understand why the more the story goes on. Lewis then gets to meet an old man named Grandpa Bud, who is busy trying to look for his teeth, and within meeting the grandpa, it led to Lewis meeting Wilbur's entire family, aka the whole point Wilbur was trying to make as to not meet his own family.
Lewis, will you give me a hand and time my race?
my toy train's ready for you. Get set, go. 1.7 seconds.
I win!
While Wilbur comes back to realize that Lewis is missing,
Lucille's baking cookies. Bake them cookies, Lucille!
smash, next question. Wilbur then finds Lewis and drags him to help explain who he's met.
Spike and Dimitri are twins, and I don't know who they're related to.
Neither do we. Go on.
Okay, Bud, Fritz, and Joe are brothers. Fritz is married to Petunia, and is she...
Frankie? Yes.
And when it comes to knowing about everyone in the family, when it comes to knowing about the grandpa's son Cornelius especially, aka Wilbur's father, Lewis then asks Wilbur as to who Cornelius looks like, and Wilbur just responds with,
I was married to Bud, and your dad Cornelius is their son. What does Cornelius look like?
Tom Selleck.
which is so dumb, but a clever fourth wall break joke, because that is literally the voice actor that will be playing as Cornelius in the film. The bullet hat guy then arrives at Wilbur's house, and while Lewis fixes them time machine, to which he does. For a brief time.
You know what they say. Keep moving.
Bullet hat guy then lets his hat, who's named Doris, to scan over the family's house, with him realizing that Lewis is at the actual house. And during dinner, Carl tries to give everyone a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but when the machine jams, Wilbur offers Lewis to fix it. Lewis feels too unconfident to really do it, but with the encouragement of Wilbur and his whole family, he goes right on ahead. But when Lewis tries, the machine ends up being screwed up anyways. Feeling discouraged once again, Wilbur's whole family just celebrates the occasion of him failing because they followed Wilbur's dad's tagline quote of, "Keep moving forward." And it's a motivation to help Lewis understand that even if he fails, it just means he's trying. Bowler Hat Guy's hat Doris then sees everyone celebrating in one spot and wholesomely decides, now let them all perish. As it tries to cut a chandelier, Doris's plan gets stopped by the Bowler Hat Guy as he invades the house with a literal dinosaur that he stole using the time machine. As you do.
Oh, Doris will be so proud of me.
But it also makes you question, how the hell can he fit a dinosaur into the time machine? You know what? Now the more that I think about it, we're just going to move on because I'm going to dig myself into another rabbit hole of questions for a film that nobody will answer for me. The dinosaur then eats Lewis.
Now the world don't move to the beat of...
Kidding. That's the last time I'm doing that joke. I think. But the Bullet Hat Guy stops that from happening as he wants Lewis to come back alive. The dinosaur then kills everyone in sight. But when he reaches to Lewis, his head is too big to even reach him. So instead the dinosaur tries to kill Wilbur, but Lewis luckily jumps in to save Wilbur just in time. And with some quick thinking, Wilbur manages to take the mind control off the dinosaur. Wilbur's mom's frogs then lock the machine up in the trunk of their car. Am I witnessing a frog murder cover-up operation? Okay then.
Are you boys all right?
Got that dinosaur? Oh man, it was so cool, Mom.
Okay, if you've ever watched this movie, or cracked the code as to how Lewis connects with his family, questionable scene. I mean, it's not Lewis's fault, he doesn't know, but questionable scene. Wilbur tries to get Lewis back into the garage, but his mom opts to let him stay and perhaps opens the idea of him being adopted here. With such a question, Lewis agrees and the whole family celebrates, leaving Wilbur to look at Carl like, shoot. Yep, the jig is up now. So then Wilbur tosses Lewis's hat to reveal to the family who he truly is.
Wilbur, what have you done? How could you bring him here?
That is an excellent question.
Wilbur's mom then agrees with Wilbur to potentially not screw up the past, They can't mention to Lewis anything regarding the truth. Wilbur then admits to his family as to what happened to both time machines. Then when Lewis asks Wilbur when he was going to see his real mom like he promised, Wilbur's mom gets upset hearing this. But Wilbur's like, guys, it's okay. I was never gonna commit to that promise anyway. He says that right next to Lewis. Yeah, maybe Wilbur kind of deserves to have his whole bloodline vanquished. Lewis runs away, but that's when he bumps into Bowler Hat Guy, who sleazes his way into convincing Lewis that he can achieve his own dreams of meeting his mother in exchange to fix his memory scanner. Lewis is stuck as to question what to do, but once he sees Wilbur, he's all like, man, F that guy, I'm in! And joins Bowler Hat Guy into the time machine. Lewis then fixes the machine, but when asked if he could see his mom, Doris then ties Lewis up to reveal that the Bowler Hat Guy never really committed to the deal at all. Bowler then drops a bombshell, revealing to Lewis that he's actually a father here, to Wilbur, which is pretty obvious if you just connected the dots as to why they were being so secretive with him, but you know, kids are dumb. And with that information, he also reveals that Lewis himself has history with him, because he is Lewis's roommate all along. And when Lewis asks what the hell happened to him, he gives the most hilarious, unself-aware backstory that I've ever seen.
Ball in the sleeve, I would have caught the ball. Do you understand?
For some reason, no one wanted to adopt me.
Hey, Goob, what's up? Cool binder.
Hey, Goob, want to come over to my house today?
They all hated me.
So while Lewis got to succeed, creating his own corporation, Goob was left to drown in his own sorrow and jealousy, feeling pity for himself while having to hear Lewis have a better life than him. Goob also met Doris, in which Doris was made as a creation that future Lewis made, but shut down when the machine was just out of control. So both Goob and Doris aligned together to take Lewis's main invention to get the profit and success all to themselves. Lewis then tries to reason with Goob and lets him understand that he focused on the negatives way too hard, and he could have just kept moving forward.
Let's see. Take responsibility for my own life or blame you. Ding, 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 ding. Blame you.
Need I say more? So while Goob tries to take Lewis away, Lewis returns to notice Wilbur and Carl being around, in which he makes a run with it with the machine to be saved by them. Carl then frigging dies.
Look at that, boys. We're almost home.
And Goob escapes with the machine. Wilbur would then try to encourage Lewis to try and fix the time machine one more time, and while that's happening, Goob has already gone back to get the machine greenlit by the invention company that rejected him before. And while that's happening, it causes Wilbur to just disappear right in front of Lewis's eyes, practically ceasing to exist at all. But within that, Lewis realizes that these events are changing right in front of him, and now he gets to witness Goob taking credit of his own invention that changed everything for his future. And thus it's also revealed that Doris manipulated Goob into going forward with his plan, as he's able to convince Goob to mass produce clones of Doris, leading to Doris to have easy access to help take over the world. And Doris watched Lewis go through all of that and was like, cool, now that you know, I'm going to get your family to kill you. Like, wow, that is a dark visual. So in the middle of witnessing Lewis's own future family try to eat him, Lewis is finally able to fix the time machine. And where did this kid get lessons to know how to fly a machine? That's just never explained, but alright movie, I'll go with it if it means not having to watch Lewis get eaten by his own family. But while trying to escape, Lewis gets chased by a huge Doris machine, running after him while Lewis is forced to watch the disasters that he created by fixing that machine for the Bull Hat Guy, and in essence, for Doris. Lewis then goes back in time to where Goob is signing a contract to his deal with the corporation when Lewis exposes Doris for her deceitful plans, and directly tells Doris that he's never going to create her, causing Doris to be Thanos gone away? That easy? Okay. That felt a bit anticlimactic, but sure. Lewis then takes Goob to show the aftermath of Doris's plans were, but with Doris no longer existing, that easily, the whole town goes back to normal. Even Wilbur comes back even after being disintegrated.
I'll hold run for help.
Lewis would then stop him and help convince Wilbur to take Goob in as a family member, and he has to listen to him because Lewis, even though he's a year younger than Wilbur, is still his dad. But Goob would then disappear, wanting to take the journey on his own. The family would then check up on Lewis to see if he's okay, and that's when Lewis gets to meet his grown-up self. And thus they have a heart-to-heart moment with old Lewis, admitting that even with his new inventions, his best one was his first. Because that's what started it all. Lewis then says goodbye to the Robertson family as he heads off home. But in actuality, Wilbur didn't do that, as he actually goes off to commit to his promise in letting Lewis meet his real mom. But when Lewis has the chance, he stops himself and lets the moment happen, knocking on the door to let the orphan lady find Lewis in his position, which intertwines as what happens in the beginning of the film, which I should discuss. That means Lewis was the one who was knocking on the door, not the mom. So that means, in actuality, Lewis's real mom just left that kid for dead, outside in the rain. Gave no warning to the people inside. She's just like, here you go, I love you, goodbye. Like, she just left. She gave no warning, no alert that she just left the baby here. She just left him. I gotta say, Lewis, you dodged the bullet. When Wilbur asks why he didn't take the opportunity, Lewis admits that he already has a family waiting for him. And thus the two friends, the two older son and younger father, hug it out, and Wilbur takes off to go back to his time. Lewis would then go back to the science fair, but before then he would rush into Goob's baseball game to let him to wake up, helping Goob catch the ball in time, and thus Goob gets to have his happy moment. Going back to the science fair, Lewis would then be given a chance to show his memory scanner invention just one more time, to which it finally worked successfully. And with that, it got to help Lewis find his future adopted parents, to which his future dad, Bud, would change his name by thinking his name was more suitable to be called, as you heard before, Cornelius. Lewis, now Cornelius, now interacts with Franny, who he knows will be his future wife. Okay, pre-ordering a wife at 12 years old is crazy. Cornelius gets to move out of his place while Goob gets adopted. Let's go! Don't doubt on my boy Goob! And thus Cornelius says goodbye to the orphanage lady as he leaves with his new family. They end up buying the same house that Cornelius will live in the future, and thus the movie concludes. And wow, I must say, that was a great movie. And if you're an OG, it was a great game. I gotta say, this was just such a motivational movie. Like, it had such a good story, had such a good motive. Like, we need that. Not this. So yeah, Meet the Robinsons gets 4 out of 5 big booms. Follow my socials here. Like, comment, and blah, blah, blah. Subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. And no, I am not doing another take for that.